out at couplecars.com. Stock number C280930. All deals with Roof Credit.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
There are so many realtors in Lincoln and Omaha, but don't get overwhelmed by all the no-names, plus all the different companies. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Real Estate is your go-to option, whether buying or selling residential, luxury, leasing, investment properties, or commercial property, small or large. Ben's team offers decades of experience, unbeatable customer service, and promises to fully protect your interests throughout the entire transaction. Call 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador Real Estate.
If your home isn't delivering the year-round comfort you expect, call the experts at Bryant. Need service? Call 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Winter is just around the corner. Is your vehicle ready? Don't get left out in the cold. At A1 Automotive, we prep your car for whatever winter throws your way here in Nebraska. For battery checks, brake inspections, tires, heaters, whatever your car needs to keep you and your family safe on the road, we've got you covered. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket all week for coverage of Nebraska football's appearance in the 2025 Las Vegas Bowl. Coverage of Nebraska football's bowl game is sponsored by Advanced Medical Imaging, Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, MWR Building and Fence, and Amigos Kings Classic on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Mike, I've been thinking our house could really use a makeover. How about new siding?
I've been thinking the same thing. Have you heard of James Hardy?
Yes. Sarah down the street had Roofing Service Company install James Hardy siding on their home, and they love it.
Roofing Service Company does have great reviews.
They took her through the design process and made everything super easy.
Roofing Service Company offers expert design and installation. Couple that with James Hardy's durable products and variety of colors, you and your family will love your exterior remodel. Just visit roofingservicecompany.com. That's roofingservicecompany.com.
You've got used to one segment of Good Takes in the morning, but now there's a full show of Good Takes at night. Welcome into Raff's Good Take on Sports on 93.7
Welcome in, Raff's Good Take on Sports 93.7 The Ticket, ticketfm.com. Coming at you an hour early as we got a lot of student athletes out and about, hanging out with family, rightfully so. Those guys put in a ton of work. They deserve the well-earned rest. We are live on the brick and mortar. No NFL football tonight. And we do got the bowl game tomorrow. We'll be there for that as well. But if you guys want to join in, 402-464-5685, Facebook, YouTube, X, Allo Channel 961. If you got Allo Cable. Chris Raff, how's it going the eve before Las Vegas Bowl?
It's going good. It's going good. And that's 2 hours early. 2 hours early.
It is 2 hours early. I'm out here bare in the late night hours. I got my guy Jay out here helping me behind me, putting up some clips. Shout out to the wrestlers. Go figure, the wrestlers yeah, just give me the work, whatever.
Oh, he's waving. He's waving. Jay, come back. Wave again. Make some clips for Raff's Good Take on Sports. Make some. Hey, man, I've got Husker Nation in a lather tonight. I'm so proud of myself. Every once in a while. What's that?
What'd you say? What do you mean you got the Husker Nation? What?
Well, I was sitting here today, and I was, just thinking, who are the top 10 players in the history of Nebraska football that played in the NFL? Off that topic that we had, was that last week? I believe we talked about that.
Yeah, might have been the last show before we took off.
So I went and I did my homework and I made my top 10 list of the top 10 players that played in the NFL. And that got a lot of people going. You can go to Chris Raff 7 on Twitter and look at my post there. I posted on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and all that. So I did that. And then after I finished that, I decided to make my Mount Rushmore of Nebraska football. I mean, I'm just like, I'm ready for the bowl game. I'm waxing nostalgic, thinking back on games of yesteryear, players of yesteryear. So I've got Husker Nation. I mean, I've got comments coming in left and right. People I've forgotten, people I should have had on my list. It's awesome. I love it. Nebraska football.
You're kind of becoming you ever listen to Bill Simmons?
A couple times, not a ton. I've been told I need to listen to it more though.
He's like the NBA historian. So if you're not a big NBA guy, a lot of his stuff's not going to be up your alley, but he is a big time historian, big time all-time list. Like he has a list he updates every year on the top 100 players. Like that's becoming you with Husker football. Just the Husker football historian.
I'm thinking this is going to be my niche. I think I'm going to start making lists all the time. Best center, best guard, best, just every position, and start, making my top 10 lists, because it's been fun, because so my top 10 list, the guy that I left out that he probably should be on the list, but it was tough. It was Neil Smith. A lot of people have been saying Neil Smith should be on my top 10. And looking back on it now, he has 2 Super Bowl victories with the Denver football Broncos. Let's get that in there right away. And, he had, I believe, over 100 sacks. So, but then I had Roy Link Lyman. He's in the Hall of Fame. He played in like the early 1900s. So I was like, I could put Neil Smith there. However, Roy Link Lyman is in the Hall of Fame. So I could not disregard his early years of football and being in the Hall of Fame. That gave him the nod to over Neil Smith. So that's, and then I've been hearing a lot of Tom Rathman, and Tom Rathman, I think, could probably be in that top 10 list too. But I was trying to, criteria. That's always, what is the criteria? Tom Rathman, a lot of his criteria was John Madden made him a living legend. I mean, let's just put it that way. He was one of John Madden's all-time favorite players. So from that criteria, he had some productive years, but you got to remember that at the time when he was in that backfield, you had Roger Craig, hopefully going into the Hall of Fame. Should be hearing about that hopefully come the end of January, early February. You have Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, John Taylor. You had the tight end. Oh, I'm forgetting his name now, the blonde-haired dude. But so you're looking at all those players, but Tom Rathman could be at that. But there's only 10 spots. Like I made my Mount Rushmore, and my Mount Rushmore is 4 spots. And I have people saying, well, so-and-so should be on there. But I'm like, well, who do I take off? So my Mount Rushmore for Nebraska football: Tommy Frazier, Dave Remington, Johnny Rodgers, Mike Rozier. So there's one guy that's left off there. But who do you take off to put Sue on there?
Don't make me answer. That's a nightmare of a question.
It's a tough question, because a lot of people could be like, well, take off, Mike Rozier, for instance. But people forget, like Sue was an amazing player, but people forget Mike Rozier was amazing as well. Like I went back and looked, Barry Sanders, his junior season when he won the Heisman, he averaged 7.6 yards per carry. Guess who averaged 7.8 yards per carry?
Mr. Rozier.
Mr. Mike Rozier. So it's like,
it's
hard to,
that's
hard
a stupid number.
Come off. And then, Dave Remington, I mean, he's, in my opinion, the greatest offensive lineman in the history of college football. So he's up there.
Yeah, he's got the award named after him. You can't take him off there. He's in the history and forever will be.
And then Johnny Rodgers, Johnny Rodgers was basically, the first really brand name of Nebraska football. I think if you ask a lot of people, Johnny Rodgers, that name pops up time and time again with what he did, running, receiving, return wise. Johnny R. superstar. And then Tommy Frazier. It's like, I know a lot of people will be like, well, he didn't win a Heisman or he didn't do this, but what Tommy Frazier did for Nebraska football is just, for me, it's like being that I lived in that time and knowing that the shot in the arm that Tommy Frazier brought to Nebraska football, he'll always be on my Mount Rushmore. And like I tell Tommy this when I see him all the time, that in my opinion, college football quarterback, Tommy Frazier's at the top of my list. So
for college football, yeah.
Like
he fits the game perfectly.
Yep.
This is a tough thing to do when you start comparing generations. It's a little bit like comparing apples to oranges because you have these huge disadvantages of the past to where these new guys don't have to deal with. Because you just look at the penalties and how football was played back in the day. It's similar to when you try to compare like centers in the NBA, the best all-time centers, like trying to compare Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to Nikola Jokic.
Well, like I look at like
players, but such different eras.
I look at it like this too. Say you're an Oklahoma football fan. Hello, Oklahoma football fans. Everybody from Oklahoma listening tonight. I'm sure we have millions and millions. But I'm telling you right now, if you ask an Oklahoma football fan who was a better quarterback for Oklahoma, and you put up Jason White, who won a Heisman Trophy, you put up Sam Bradford, I believe he won a Heisman Trophy, and you put up Jamel Holloway. I'm going out on a limb and saying that 80% of those Oklahoma football fans are going to see Jamel Holloway.
Yeah, 100%.
So, and that's kind of where with Tommy Frazier, like people are going to say, well, Eric Crouch won a Heisman. Well, it's like, yeah, and he had a great season and he won the Heisman, but in my eye test, my taste test, my, everything that I've looked at, Tommy Frazier, like you said it perfectly, the way he fit into that time period and the way he played, the way he produced. So it's fun. I enjoy, hearing other people's opinions and stuff. Like I had some people tell me tonight, replace Mike Rozier with Lawrence Phillips. That there's an argument there, but I'm going with Mike Rozier, but I love hearing, if anybody's out there listening, text in, what is your top 10? A lot of people we're saying, some players that they forget that their pro career wasn't quite as long, as it was in college. So that's why they were
at college though, right? Or excuse me, we're just looking for like just the NFL careers, right? We're not looking at the college part.
Yep, just the NFL career on that top 10 list. And then the Mount Rushmore was just what they did at Nebraska.
Let's bring in the listeners then. 402-464, because I do have your list. Did you Photoshop that one yourself there, Raff?
Yes, I did. Did I do a good job?
I would have thought it was Gracie. No, I'm just kidding. She might have you beat out. But the names are all spelled correctly, and you got the faces on there. Looks great. Give him a follow. Chris Raff 7 on X. All right, 402-464-5685. This is Raff's greatest NFL Huskers. Again, we're just looking at their NFL career, not their college football career. At number 1, he has Will Shields. At number 2, Guy Chamberlain. Number 3, Roger Craig. 4, Ndamukong Suh. 5, Amon Green. 6, Bob Brown. 7, Irving Fryer. 8, Mike Tingloff. 9, Levante David. And number 10, Roy Lyman. And if you guys got any honorable mentions, or if you just, want to tell Raff it's terrible, and you want to tell him it's great, I'll read them off as long as there's no profanity.
Yeah, and I took a little kickback with Irving Fryer, but it's like
Irving Fryer is criminally underrated.
I'm like, look at his career statistics, and he's got an argument. And that's where I fell, because I was like Irving Fryer, Neil Smith, Irving Fryer, but I ended up going, with Irving Fryer just for the longevity of his career and the statistics that he put up over that time period.
Well, how many seasons did he have? Yeah, 1984 all the way to 2000. I mean, the guy was in the league for 16 years or 17 years. That's
what was his final catches in yardage?
Let's see. On one side note, it's also incredible. The guy never missed a game outside of that last season. His total receptions, 851 for 12,785 yards.
So when he retired, he was top 5.
Yep. Finished also with 84 touchdowns in his career. Averaging 15 yards per reception. Nothing to scoff at. Man, early in his career, he was just catching bombs. I mean, his first 4 years, he's over 17 yards per reception average. And then it slows down a little bit towards the end of his career, but he's still getting around 13 to 15.
Yep. No, that's a guy. The more I think about it as the years go by, that's one that, and I think it was the reason for it at the beginning was he was with the Patriots, and the Patriots weren't like the fancy, the pick that that they are now, or that they were with Tom Brady. I mean, now they're back with a May, but I think he kind of got lost in the shuffle a little bit. And you had Jerry Rice at the time. You had some, productive receivers, but Irving Fryar was right there. And you go and you look at his career. For me, it made him, a top 10 selection for my greatest Huskers in the NFL. I've heard some, Vince Ferragamo, for instance. Vince, yes, he was the only Nebraska quarterback to play in a Super Bowl or start in a Super Bowl, but it's like the longevity of his NFL career just didn't, sustain long enough for me to make him a top 10 player.
Yeah, I mean, when you're putting in 17 years in the leagues, it's kind of hard to beat right there. And to do it with the numbers that he did is absolutely incredible. We do got one text in here. Let's go ahead and try to get some more in here. Are you guys forgetting about Scott Shanley? It's not Scott Shanley, is it? Scott.
Yep, Scott Shanley. He played linebacker for the Saints. He had some productive years, but I don't think he cracks.
He was there for not even 10 years, though, was he? He's got one Super Bowl.
It was close. But I don't think he cracks my top 10 list. So don't let him know that I said that, because
well, he's listening. So
yeah, I know. Sometimes he gets a little rambunctious with his tweets. I know that his love of Matt Rule is legendary.
Let's see here. Maybe I'm just remembering his Saints. He did have 7 years with the Saints, but he was with.
Then he went to the Cowboys, I think, for a couple of years. I think, but I could be.
Let me
wrong
look it
on
up. I don't want to discredit this guy. How long was he in the league?
Yeah, he was close to 10, if not longer.
10 years on the money. So
Yep.
there you go. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, we hit such a drought that there's not a lot of new guys to really put up there. Some of the guys right now, like you have them on your list, Levante David. Dom Concei's kind of out of it. He was a hired assassin. We're kind of hoping for Cam Jurgens to maybe break that list someday.
Yeah, I think he's well on his way. He's got his second Pro Bowl selection, I believe. So he's on his way to probably one day breaking into that list. It'll be interesting to see how those years go by and who makes that threat. Hey, can you tell me I think this is actually another trivia question. 2 brothers that have won a Super Bowl ring that played for Nebraska?
Was I alive?
Yes. Kind of. I mean, you were a little baby, but I mean, you were grade school.
Maybe the names hover around. I'm blanking right now.
This would be an interesting trivia question. Brothers.
I won't answer it. If the text line wants to beat me to it, and if I can't think of it, I'll just Google it, and then I'll shut so someone gets it.
Our last texter that's a big hint right there. That's what kind of spurred my mind. So I will give you, half of the answer, I guess I would say.
Fair enough.
I
think someone got it right now. No, someone said Brown brothers.
Nope. They actually weren't brothers. They're brothers, but they're not brothers. AD would be so proud of me right now. No, Mike and Ralph, they were best of friends, but they were not blood brothers.
No comment, but that was hilarious.
And Mike never won a Super Bowl. He was with the Bears, though. I believe he was on the Bears team, and when they played in the Super Bowl, I think that it was close. But the answer to that question is the 2 Huskers brothers that have each won a Super Bowl were Scott Shanley with the Saints and Andrew Shanley with the New York Giants.
That's right. I mean, I just looked it up right now. Also came from playing 8-man football at St. Edward High School.
Yep.
Him and his brother. Couple of 8-man football. Absolute dudes out there.
And I believe the Andrew Shanley story is even It's so good because he actually signed with the Giants, got cut. I don't think he played the entire season with them. Injuries happen. The playoffs come around. They sign him as a free agent, and he ends up getting a Super Bowl ring. It worked out. It worked out great. I think he's actually down in Texas now. I think he's a high school football coach down in Texas. But I always enjoyed Andrew. He was a good guy back in the college years.
Yeah, it's always incredible. Like some of those stats come up on like a quick side tangent, but I don't know if you've seen the graphics with Joe Thuney. And what a run. He has won his division every single year outside of like one. And I think it was maybe his first year. And he obviously with the Patriots for like 4 or 5 years, and the Chiefs with 4 years. And then he comes to the Chicago Bears and it's like, well, the ride's over. Bears come out. So talk about guys just in the right place at the right time. Joe Thuney, he deserves a lot of credit in it. I think he maybe is bringing some voodoo with him. But some people, I mean, they just know timing.
Well, that's the one stat with Roger Craig that never gets mentioned ever. That every single year that Roger Craig was in the NFL, he made it to the playoffs.
Yep.
And that's not just the 49ers. That's the Raiders and the Vikings, which, the Raiders, but that's a pretty crazy stat that he was in the postseason 10 years, 10 postseasons.
Yeah, I don't know. Obviously some of it's luck. Some of it's just like, you're just that game changer. Like you just know how to make things operate around you. Certainly with Joe Thuney, but with Roger Craig, I mean, it's pretty obvious. He was a big part of all those. So it makes sense for him to be that good to help his teams get in the postseason. You got a little bit of belief too. And you got someone like Roger Craig out there.
So is Nebraska going to win tomorrow?
It's a loaded question, loaded gun question right there.
Love asking the questions.
You're not bad at that. Tell you what, we will, before I answer that, I want to throw it to break, and I want to highly consider my answer, because I'd imagine a majority of this show is going to head down this Utah versus Nebraska bowl game, the Las Vegas bowl. I know me and Ridge Lovett talked about it for a little bit there. We just kind of teased it. So I want to start out segment 2, talking all Husker Las Vegas bowl versus number 15 Utah. Still an opportunity to get your first ranked win for Matt Rule and crew. So there is a lot on the line here. And I think apathy set in, and just like the the clock is cyclical, just our Huskers' hopes and dreams. I think everyone's kind of hop back on board after getting blown out twice. Like, all right, what's there to lose? Let's go out there and try to win a game. So we'll dive into that one next segment. Don't go anywhere. This is Raff's Good Take on Sports, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com.
At Raising Cane's, we focus on being the best at one thing and getting it right every time, which is why every hand-battered, cooked-to-order chicken finger meal we serve is made just for you.
Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, one love.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids.
First, I hold my hands out like they're on a steering wheel. Then I look over my shoulder. Next, I put it in reverse.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza. The big one. All the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend.
I think it's just vapor. Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
One vape pod has as much nicotine as one pack of cigarettes.
My kid
knows it's dangerous. 5.4 million American kids vape, and most think it's harmless. Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org. That's talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Prashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Why are some people more successful? Is it talent and determination, or did they recognize an opportunity? Discover a career that lets you help families reach their financial goals as you build lasting professional relationships. One with unlimited income potential. From Modern Woodman, a leading fraternal financial services provider.
I'm Modern Woodman Regional Director Sean Erickson. Call me at 402-483-6515 to learn about career opportunities.
Modern Woodman of America. Touching lives, securing futures.
It's the holiday season. Time for work parties, friend get-togethers, and family gatherings, which means lots of eating. Maybe you think you've perfected your holiday meals, and maybe you have no idea where to even start. Let's fix that right now. No holiday party is complete without Führer's cheese spread. It goes well with any type of cracker, pretzels, apples, chili, vegetable, chips, and of course, it's perfect to pair with wine or beer. Holiday meals aren't complete until Führer's cheese spread is on the table. Find your own container at your nearest local grocery store today. Big value and big flavor meet at Wings & Rings thanks to the all-new delicious Duo Combo. This is the one you've been waiting for. Get one half-sized appetizer and 2 entrees with a side for only $19.99. Bring a friend for the best deal in town on any day of the week, during game time, or whenever the heck you want. Their made-to-order wings and chicken sandwiches are waiting for you at their 68th and O and 40th and Old Cheney location. Stop by Wings & Rings and celebrate every day with the best meal deal in town.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top-quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Back to Raff's Good Take on Sports on 93.7 The Ticket. With all the good takes you need, here is your host, Chris Raff.
Welcome back in. 93.7 The Ticket, ticketfm.com. Spent a lot of the first segment talking about Chris Raff's list of the top 10 NFL Huskers. Again, just looking at their NFL career, not their college football career. We did have, I believe, unknown texter 4747. What about Tom Rathman for top 10 NFL Huskers? I know you disputed this one a little bit, just for our new listeners hopping in here, though. Thoughts on Tom Rathman cracking the list?
Yeah, I think he could be on the list. I mean, he got 2 Super Bowl rings with the 49ers. But statistically, like we said, the 49ers were so loaded. I think this is kind of like the Roger Craig thing with why he's not in the Hall of Fame. Probably why Tom Rathman's not on my top 10 list, just because they had so many other, John Taylor, Jerry Rice, Joe Montana, Steve Young, Roger Craig, Brent Jones. That was the tight end I was thinking of. But they had so many players. But he definitely, if I make my top 10 fullbacks, for Nebraska history, he'll be in that, top three to 4 of them. So stay tuned for my top 10 Nebraska football lists. They're coming.
Well, we got one more. This one from Ron, and it is a good argument because, again, this is before my time, but he played the corner position, his DB, and then he played cornerback for pretty much the rest of his career. Yeah. He played for, see if you can guess him, he played for 17 years, only on 2 teams.
Yep. Pat Fisher.
Yeah, you got it.
He's one. He's very close to cracking that list. It was the Roy Link Lyman one that it was like I wanted to put Pat Fisher on there. I believe he's from Lexington, which is pretty crazy. I believe that Pat Fisher and Monty Kiffin played on the same high school football team, I believe. Which
he was also from St. Edward.
Okay, maybe it was. Okay, maybe it wasn't. I'm thinking of a different guy then. But yeah. So yeah, Pat Fisher definitely.
Not bad. He was the 85th pick overall too.
Yeah, a great
349th overall since 1960.
Yeah, great player. And like I said, just because Roy Link Lyman was in the Hall of Fame, he got the nod. But I definitely could put. I could do a list. Players with modern day football. He'd definitely be on that list.
You want to talk about menace too? In 1964, he had 10 interceptions in 14 games.
And I believe he is only like 5'7".
I wonder if it tells me 5'9", 170.
Yeah,
just taking your lunch money.
Exactly. Yeah. So I should have done a modern day football ones where I've seen their highlights, because I'll be honest with you, Guy Chamberlain, I never saw no highlights of him. Link Lyman, I never saw any highlights of him. But just the fact that they were in the NFL Hall of Fame, that's what gave them the nod in my top 10 list. But I should maybe have also do a list of players that I've seen highlights on. Like, I saw, when we went to the Hall of Fame, which is crazy. It's been 21 years ago since we've been to the Hall of Fame for Elway to be inducted. But Bob the Boomer Brown was inducted the same year as John Elway. So I got a ton of, footage and to see what he was in the NFL and just he destroyed people. There's a reason why they call him Boomer, because he was booming some people pretty good. So, but yeah, so I guess I could do a top 10 list of players that I've seen highlights of, because
you could use like by generation or decade.
Yeah, I could do that also. I just went
easier. Again, I always go back to like it. You're gonna always lose when you're comparing like the 2000s to the 1960s. It's just it's the old heads are gonna say you don't know, and the truth is you don't, because you weren't. Well, some of you might have been, but like for me, instance, like I wouldn't, because I didn't get to watch it. I'm purely just going off of stats on paper and some blurry game tape, if there's any at all. So I become one of those battles.
I was also this too. This is, people are going to come at me on this one. I can already feel it, and I'm good with this. But I know Ndamukong Suh, one of the all-time greats, probably should have won the Heisman Trophy and stuff like that. But you can also make arguments that there was the senior season of Trev Alberts, that he had a ton of sacks. Definitely could be possibly a chance to be on that Mount Rushmore of Nebraska. And then another guy, Grant Wistrom. I mean, this guy comes from Webb City, Kansas, plays as a true freshman, gets 3 national championships. Like, you could make arguments for him being on that Mount Rushmore. I mean, there's so many different avenues. It's fun. It's fun now because my socials are just like blowing up with people commenting. Some people saying I'm correct. Some people saying I don't know what I'm talking about. It's fun when I do this. But I was just sitting here tonight and I was like, let me see if I can make some cool little charts. So, I mean, my Mount Rushmore is pretty good. I thought I did that on myself too.
I'd hope so. I didn't think your wife was putting it together for you. I assumed it was Chris Raff's work, although she's probably absorbed a decent amount of football knowledge at this point, just having to hang around you as long as she has. I'd imagine it's starting to soak in a little bit. She was a diehard Husker fan too, though, right?
Yep, she cheered for Nebraska. You can see her.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
her uniform right there, I guess. So.
Oh, I thought that was yours.
Well, no, that's hers. That was my wedding present to her. So.
Oh, okay. That's all right. That's pretty cool. I'm glad you didn't laugh. That wasn't a great joke. I'll be honest. I could do a lot better.
No, but yeah, she has selective listening. Sometimes she listens, sometimes she doesn't. But that's okay. She's learning from me. I have very selective listening too. Take out the trash. I did not hear that.
Yeah, I don't blame a lot of my exes for having selective hearing, because I was just talking about the Bears over and over. Like, this is the year. At a certain point, you do got to tune it out. Otherwise, you'll just go as crazy as I did. Or same thing for Husker football. Like, no, you just wait.
Well, I think that's what you just need to do. Just start finding Bears watch parties. I just got to find a Chicago Bear fan.
There's one that walks around. I get away from him every now and then. Every night, decked out in Bears gear. Doesn't matter if it's Monday or Sunday. I should say that because those are both NFL days. But if it's like a Wednesday, It's like 10 p.m. The guy's walking by. Like, we're talking the Bears Letterman jacket, the Bears hat, navy blue pants, like just decked out Bears gear every time I see him. And I have no idea what his business is, but I just want to bring him on air once when I see him. Like, I don't know who you are, but I like your style. And you probably got some great things to say about the Chicago Bears. But that's all I got. I got to stop doing that. I just get too excited over my magical season. This is the Utah Bowl game coming up tomorrow. Not the Utah Bowl game. The Las Vegas Bowl game where we're facing Utah. Chris Raff, you asked me the question. I think I was like, does Nebraska have a chance?
Oh no, are they going to win? They always have a chance. If you step on the field, you have a chance to win. I said, are they going to win?
Yeah, I tried to escape out of that question. I don't like saying yes or no. I'm going to say yes because I'm just going to choose to believe. But there is a huge battle in front of them. But at the same time, a lot of opportunity. And no one believes in them. I'll say that much outside of, the local radius and maybe small pockets everywhere else out in the country. But a majority of people, like when they go pick the bowl games, you'll see probably across the board Utah. And the beauty of that is it's in Creed, it's in Rocky. But you don't have anything, you're dangerous. It's kind of what they have to lean on. Like, you have nothing to lose. No one is expecting you to win the game. You're playing for your pride at that point, and some other guys, they're playing for their position. You got some guys that this is their last game, so you'd hope they go out there and play meaningfully, which I think they will. But you also have some younger guys where, listen, you got a new coaching staff in there, especially some of these offensive linemen. Like, you're going to have an opportunity to put yourself in a good position. It's kind of like the kids that show up for that first week of school. It's required, but you don't really need to be there. You can get straight A's even if you miss that first week. It's mainly just here's your syllabus that's on Canva already or that we're going to give you in a handout. But if you show up, makes a great impression on that teacher that you're serious and you're about that business. And this bowl game, it's the same thing. Like, you can't go loafing out there. There's a real opportunity for yourself to get some minutes next season if you make a statement.
Yeah, no, this is, for me, it is the strangest bowl game in the history of bowl games, just for the fact that there's so many different angles to look at this game. Like, I look at it from this angle. Say Nebraska goes out there and just dominates. And then you're going to have the excuse from Utah, well, we didn't have our top players, we didn't have our head coach, and then then you have that excuse. But then from the Nebraska point of view, it's like, okay, what do we have here? But then you're going to have that thing lurking in the back of your head all summer going, now, was that a legitimate domination, or is it what Utah was saying? They didn't have their top players. They didn't come in prepared. So it can be a springboard for Nebraska, but then you're still going to have those questions in your head. Then there's the other way, like say Utah comes in and just dominates Nebraska. And then you're sitting there and you're like, okay, well, we didn't have Emmett, but then you're sitting there going, well, we didn't have Deshaun. We didn't have, okay, so maybe, you have that thought in the back of your head, but we were pretty well dominated the final, couple games of the year. Are we on a downward trend? I mean, there's so many different storylines that this game can take. It's going to be like I said, it is the strangest bowl game of all time for me, just for the fact that you really don't know, how to take it. Like I was thinking to myself tonight, I was like, if Nebraska wins, hey, we beat a top 15 team. And trust me, we will hear that over and over and over again. But then you're like, and I know Bill Bush, earlier on the early break, the drive. Now, early break. Now, but on early break was talking about there's no asterisks. Like, if they win this game, you beat a top 15 team. But he's like, because there's no asterisks, they beat a top 15 team. But then in your mind, you're saying to yourself, now, were they really still a top 15 team? It's such a crazy game, because you just really don't know what you're going to get. Like Nebraska, I mean, the offense is pretty much, went through Emmett Johnson the last half of the year. It's like, now there's no Emmett Johnson. Like, who's Nebraska going to lean on? What is Nebraska going to take shape? Then you have the other storyline is, what is the offense going to look like? if TJ's healthy, is it going to be more of a run pass option type, type offense? I'm excited to watch this game for just all the different narratives and storylines and all the different things that could possibly take place tomorrow. It's going to be an interesting game, that's for sure.
Yeah, we'll be hyping it up, walking all the way into it. Again, post-game, or not post-game, the pregame show starts at noon tomorrow. So we will be on air covering it. And of course, as soon as the clock hits 0, we'll have the post-game shows as well. But yeah, I'm with the early break crew. And I say this all the time, like, you just don't apologize for wins ever. Like it.
Yeah.
If you can go out there, listen, Utah are experts on everything we are struggling at this season. They are elite at stopping the run, and they're elite at toting the rock. That's been their bread and butter all season long. 2 major weaknesses for Nebraska all year long. If you just that alone is something to smile about. And yeah, they lost their head coach. Didn't stop Ole Miss from beating the brakes off Tulane. And again, that's maybe not a fair matchup, but you're always in a situation where you're all getting paid to go play the sport at a high level. I think a lot of those Utah players, especially the culture that they've kind of built down there, I don't expect any sort of letdown from those guys. And even if I see a play where maybe there's one Ute loafing, I don't care. We'll take the win every time. I will forever celebrate wins, and I won't think too hard about it. I'll look forward to the next game, but listen, you lose, that's it. No one's going to ever care about the details 5 years from now. That's going to be that ranked win that finally broke through. And hopefully at that point, you got more ranked wins to talk about. So we don't always just go back to the Utah game from the 2025 offseason. But that's just it. I think it's kind of silly to trap yourself into a mind of like, well, we won, but X, Y, and Z. Who gives a damn? That's those guys' problem. We got the win. We got the trophy. We got some money.
Yep.
That's a win for us. You get into the mental gymnastics, and that's where things start to get weird for me, where it's like we're thinking too much. I had to say it with Husker basketball too. We're winning early. Some people are like, well, I'm not going to get excited until we get into Big Ten play. I was like, why? Just enjoy the wins. If we lose, we'll worry about it then. We haven't lost yet. And Husker football hasn't lost to Utah yet, nor have they beat them. So that's always my mindset on it. I just try not to overcomplicate it.
Yep. I think I'm just going to take the game as tomorrow's tomorrow. And then after that, I'm going to try not to read anything into anything because, coaches always say that was last year's team. It'll be good for, I think, in the sense if Nebraska can get a victory, springboard, so to say. There'll be more enthusiasm, I think, in the weight room. There'll be more enthusiasm around the program. But I think you just got to take it where it's tomorrow, and after that, just kind of got to let it go. Just with both teams in both aspects of it, just for the fact that you've got, them playing with, a depleted roster, Nebraska playing with the depleted roster. So whatever happens tomorrow happens. And then after that, you just take it with a grain of salt almost and move on, just for the fact that you're just really not sure what you're going to get. It's like I said, it's going to be an interesting game.
At least there's enough good players and starters still in it. Like, teams are depleted at certain guys that will not be participating, but a majority of it's going to be the guys. On a side tangent, at least we're not like the Iowa State team. Where it's like, what are they down to 17 players? Like, that's unreal. That's a situation where, yeah, I feel awful. Like, you're not going to probably win the game. Did they opt out of the bowl game? They had to have.
I'm not even sure what the plan is or what they decided to do.
Incredible. Go out there with 17 dudes and, have 4 guys playing both sides of the ball.
Yeah, I think they did opt out.
They would have to. That's like an insane thing to do. To go, I didn't even look into it. I just assumed they did because there's no way they're going to be able to.
I thought you went to school for the school.
That's what I thought.
I mean, I hear that all the time. You go for the school. You don't go for the coach.
Well, that's the PR answer. Oh, I came here because the school believes in what I believe in. $1 million check that I got when I walked in here.
Yeah. No, that's my thing, is just be honest. It's like I always laugh when people are like, oh, I'm going for the school. It's not because of the coach. It's like, I don't know about that. And then the coach leaves and then it's complete. Everyone's gone.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. Like, in today's era, like, listen, we know you guys are getting paid. Just say it. Like, honestly, I'd feel better if you just told me flat out, like, yeah, you guys are paying me a lot. That's why I'm here. Like, all right, great. If you play bad, now I know, like, I don't want to pay you anymore. If you play great, I'll keep paying you. Like, I got no problems if it's pay for play. I mean, that's the era of college football we're in. I'm a romantic of the past, but I'm not going to be just in pure denial. So, yeah, I'm with you there. It's always interesting. Bummer for Iowa State. But we got one more segment on the other side, so don't go anywhere. Maybe sneak in a little bit more football, but we got Raff's Good Take, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com.
January is your reset button. This January 10th, Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping in Lincoln is kicking off our 10-week challenge. We combine high-energy kickboxing, powerful strength training, and simple, proven nutrition to deliver real results in just 10 weeks. For a limited time, get $150 off when you enroll today. No gimmicks, just coaching, accountability, and a community that pushes you to win. Spots are limited, so don't wait. Visit fxblincoln.com and start your strongest year yet at Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping. 2 locations, South 40th and Yankee Hill, North 70th and Vine. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping, changing lives 10 weeks at a time.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program by building a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service, bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Hi, Charlie Stone here, and it's that time of the year again. Time for the annual Happy Honda Days at Honda of Lincoln. With me on the line, Andy Goodyear, to tell us all about it.
The exciting news is we have more selection and more savings. We have over 400 new 2025 and 2026 Hondas to choose from, with a great opportunity to get year-end savings on every remaining new 2025.
Do you have some Happy Honda Days specials?
Sure do, Charlie. For example, you can lease a new 2025 Accord Sport Hybrid for just $349 a month, and we have financing from just 0% APR. We've also included over 125 pre-owned of all makes and models. And as always, our certified pre-owns are in this sale as well.
Well, maybe it's time you experience the best. The Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Copple Chevrolet GMC, the #1 fastest growing GMC dealer in the Omaha and Lincoln area. We are going to keep this train rolling in a big way with new half-ton and 4x4 pickup trucks starting at $12,500 off list price or 0% financing. You heard that right, $12,500 off list price or 0% financing. You pick which one works better for you. Please stop on in the dealership and meet the team or check us out at copplecars.com. Stock number C280930. All deals with approved credit.
Winter is just around the corner. Is your vehicle ready? Don't get left out in the cold. At A1 Automotive, we prep your car for whatever winter throws your way here in Nebraska. For battery checks, brake inspections, tires, heaters, whatever your car needs to keep you and your family safe on the road, we've got you covered. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing. And we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
There are so many realtors in Lincoln and Omaha, but don't get overwhelmed by all the no-names, plus all the different companies. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Real Estate is your go-to option, whether buying or selling residential, luxury, leasing, investment properties, or commercial property, small or large. Ben's team offers decades of experience, unbeatable customer service, and promises to fully protect your interests throughout the entire transaction. Call 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador Real Estate. We're kicking off 2026 with a party on Friday, January 2nd, featuring Mike Smith and the Bowie Boys, who are turning 93.7 The Ticket into a skate park. You heard that right. Make plans to stop by The Ticket between 5 and 8 p.m. on Friday, January 2nd for a live broadcast of culture and coffee from 5 to 7 p.m. and a vintage market plus skate experience hosted by the Bowie Boys from 7 to 8 p.m. This is a party you do not want to miss. Stop by The Ticket prior to the Nebraska basketball game on Friday, January 2nd from 5 to 8 p.m.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now. In our new time, we're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
Back to Raff's Good Take on Sports on 93.7 The Ticket. With all the good takes you need, here is your host, Chris Raff.
Welcome back in. Harrison Orange on the ones and twos. And I do got to apologize for a little bit of a lie I told. We got some extra time here with Chris Raff. Generous enough to give us more time, especially with Husker Hoops around the corner. Is that one on Peacock, Chris Raff?
That I'm not sure. I think the Michigan State game is, isn't it? Or
oh, maybe it's Michigan State, which is awesome. Right when my Peacock subscription, my Lord, expires. I have to re-up that one more time. I hate the streaming services when it comes to all this stuff. Just keeping track of it is the biggest headache. Now I just got to look it up for everyone who's listening. Because they got New Hampshire tonight. Should be a good one. Another chance to stay undefeated. They're currently ranked, I believe, still 13 in the country. And if they can win this one, not going to move the needle a whole lot. But it sets you up for, of course, that Michigan State game on January 2nd. It is on Fox 1. All right, perfect. Easy enough. Easy to find. People at least know where to find Fox and what Fox 1 is. So there you have it. Should be an easy game to watch. They take on New Hampshire, and again, for a chance to stay undefeated. All right, Chris Raff, you want to do 2 Raff's good takes on live, or do you want to save it for later?
I'm good with whatever. You know, we can do it now, or we can do it later, or what works best for you.
Tell you what, I will. I'll give my good take, and then you can give yours later.
Okay, sounds good. Perfect.
Yeah, and then we can get everyone all set up here and get ready for a little bit more Husker football talk. Because, I mean, again, this game is bigger than I think people thought it was going to be. And then the closer we got, I think people are starting to put together how important just going to these bowl games is to begin with. And then the result is the cherry on top. As long as you don't get embarrassed, that's the one fear, I think. And my hope is that you don't let Utah cover the spread, which I think last time I checked was still 16.5. That's a tough one.
I think it went down. I think it's 13.5 now.
Okay, so awesome. They give us 3 points. We'll take the 3 points, though. I mean, that's a decent jump in our favor, and I'm sure a lot of it moved. Well, probably with the Whittingham news, I'm sure that line shifted quite a bit. But nonetheless, a ton of opportunity out there. So my good take today will just be on all the 93.7 Ticket listeners. We're already close to the new year before you know it. And
you're a thief. You're a thief.
I'm a thief.
Yeah, you.
Oh, was that yours?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry. You continue on. Continue on. Great minds think alike.
The Oracles back at it again. You know, you got to be on the same page with that stuff. But yeah, I tell you what, the Ticket listeners are awesome. It's incredible how much this station has grown. You remember it when you were down here at the old Ticket studio. Started with Riffin and Raff with AD, and Chris Raff was when I first started working with you. And then, of course, as time went on, I met everyone at the Ticket. But who knew how big this thing would have gotten in such a small amount of time? You obviously credit DP and Rebecca for a lot of their leadership, but then also you bring in a lot of the former Huskers like Terrell Farley, Jay Foreman, Eric Strickland with his time down here was greatly appreciated, getting a little bit of that insight back on basketball. And shout out to Strick. He was covering a lot of it when it wasn't very great, along with me and Austin Norman. And then, of course, I got to shout out my producers. I know everyone's like, why is this nerd talking all the time? But hey, someone's got to be here to push the buttons to let the talent speak as well. And it's just incredible. So I appreciate everyone that always texts in. Chris Raff, I know your show seemingly does pretty well on YouTube. It seems like quite a few people tune in on a nightly basis just looking at the numbers. So just seeing that and the fact that now weeknights even is getting a little bit of carryover, and we're starting to see weeknights grow and getting better support there, helping our student athletes. These guys are, sometimes I feel bad for it, but they're getting insomnia cookies, what feels like every day. And I got to make sure their nutritionist is okay with the amount of insomnia cookies that we have available for these guys. But if you've been able to listen to a lot of these athletes, they're really disciplined people. I think DP and Rebecca do a good job about, let me get some people who actually give a damn, because that matters, that aren't going to come in here and take it lightly and do it with a sense of pride. So it's been cool. We got new shows that started up. They'll be back come the new year. And then there's one that will have a debut, another tennis show. That's all I'll say on that one. But just really cool. I mean, to think that the 93.7 The Ticket station, like the one year was funny that they're down there in UFC, and it's like, yeah, there's the 93.7 The Ticket media stand. Like down here at UFC, like this tiny little Lincoln radio station whose signal doesn't even go out to Omaha. It's just been doing crazy numbers. And it's a big shout out to our sponsors as well. We got a lot of people who, invested into the ticket, believe in us. And then obviously it's a beautiful relationship when it works out, and it's a win-win. And because of this growth of this place, I can confidently say it's been win-win more often than not. It's incredible. So the sponsors, of course, for their belief in us, the listeners for allowing the sponsors to believe in us when they look at the numbers. And then, of course, all the talent, yourself included, Chris Raff. Just what a phenomenal run of growth that the ticket's been under. And I just want everyone to understand, like, man, we greatly appreciate it, and they're a big part of it. And everyone's a part of the ride here.
Yep. No, I was laughing the prior commercial before we came back on. I hear that they're turning 93.7 The Ticket into a skate park. And I was just, I was just thinking back to the old studio down on 48th Street. And it was like, yeah, there would have never been no skate park, in that studio, because that was pretty tiny. And now we got like this Taj Mahal of studios. If you're around Lincoln, or you get to Lincoln on a vacation, and if you haven't, coming to visit 93.7 The Ticket, it's actually on the list of things to do if you come to Lincoln, Nebraska. Just what DP has done, decorating the walls with pictures, autographs, getting a chance to say hi. You walk in, there's a good chance you might see Terrell Farley. There's a good chance that you might see, whoever, there's so many current athletes, that are in and around the building, constantly, that have their shows, or, are just in there that you might run into. Coach Brown, he's in there a lot. You run into people. It's definitely on the list of, if you visit Lincoln, Nebraska. I think 93.7 The Ticket is one of those places that you need to come down and visit, because it's a cool environment. And then once summertime comes around, you have that outdoor patio area. You've got all that stuff down there. So definitely, if you've not been down to the studio, get down and check it out, because it's a cool environment. And you get to see Luke, and he'll make you amazing coffee.
Yeah, Luke's awesome. Shout out to the mill as well to bring those guys to the mix. Like, they got me hooked up. They even pour a pot and when they close up, just because they know I'm an absolute fiend for caffeine, and I got to be here late at night. So they always they keep me hooked up. Real quick to the text line. Terrell Farley is listening. Talk about down here, and he says Bach and the black shirt are I'll use the word best. He used a different word, but yeah, he is hyping up his own show. It is a great show, and Jake Bachman's been around here for a good hot minute. The ultimate statistician when it comes to just knowing history and stats on sports. But yeah, incredible run. And like I said, appreciate everyone greatly for being a part of it. With that being said, we will go ahead, throw it to break. Don't go anywhere, though, as I promised. We got some extra content with the man himself, Chris Raff, Harrison Arns. I'll talk to you on the other side.
Hungry for something real? Come to HF Crave, Lincoln's favorite spot for burgers that are anything but basic. Locally sourced Nebraska beef, hand-cut fries, and bold flavors that'll make your taste buds cheer. Whether you're craving the classics or ready to try something wild, they've got the burger that gets you. HF Crave. Fresh, local, craveable. Find them at 48th and Holdridge or order online at hfcrave.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. When the clock strikes 0 after every Nebraska football game, there's only one place to go for instant coverage. Tune in for the Husker After Party Postgame Show on 93.7 The Ticket for each game, win or lose. Call in with all your takes or text the show at 464-5685 and hear quotes from the players and coaches, too. It's the Husker After Party Postgame Show, sponsored by Anderson Ford and Vinny Kreekak of State Farm Insurance.
Husker Nation, conference play is here for Husker Women's Hoops, and we need your help. The Huskers had one of their best starts ever, completing non-conference play with a perfect 12-0 record. But Big Ten play will be a challenge, and they need to hear Husker Nation in the stands for every basket, steal, and each and every win. The road to March starts now, so don't wait. Head to huskers.com/tickets and secure your seat for some unforgettable matchups in PBA. Go Big Red. At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends.
I'm Karen Carr. I've been a realtor for 31 years. When I made a company change 12 years ago, I chose Lincoln First Realty, now NP Dodge. It's the oldest independently owned realty company in the country. Since becoming NP Dodge, we've continued our tradition of community involvement. Our management and staff are always available to offer support in marketing, technology, social media, and educational opportunities.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Anderson Ford in Lincoln has 2 convenient locations, which means 2 times the customer service, 2 times the inventory, and 2 times the ability to get you in the car of your dreams. Whether you visit us on the north side or the south side, you'll find more selection and a team that's always on your side. When you're looking for a better way to buy your next Ford, visit Anderson Ford in Lincoln, where exceptional service meets unbeatable selection.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Ready, set, Ford. Just announced 0% for 66 months with approved credit on all 2025 Ford F-150s at Zollner, Ford of Beatrice. Save thousands in finance charges. If your current pickup loan's 4, 5, 6% or more, trade in today and receive 0% for up to 66 months on a brand new 2025 Ford F-150 of your choice at Zollner, Ford of Beatrice, Nebraska's volume dealer with the hometown service you expect.
Winter is just around the corner. Is your vehicle ready? Don't get left out in the cold. At A1 Automotive, we prep your car for whatever winter throws your way here in Nebraska. For battery checks, brake inspections, tires, heaters, whatever your car needs to keep you and your family safe on the road, we've got you covered. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Want to make the easy call? Call John Henry's. From leaky pipes to a broken AC, flickering lights to furnace fights, even drains and duct cleaning, we've got it handled. Plumbing, heating, air, and electrical, all under one trusted roof. Proudly serving homes across Lincoln, Omaha, and surrounding areas and ready 24/7. Visit calljh.com or call
John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing. Heating and air.
And electrical.
You've gotten used to one segment of Good Takes in the morning, but now there's a full show of Good Takes at night. Welcome into Raff's Good Take on Sports on 93.7 The Ticket.
Welcome back in. Hour number 2 with Chris Raff on Raff's Good Take on Sports. No DeMornay Pierce now. That man's out on a cruise. Well-deserved one. Let that man catch a break. Get some sunshine. So he's obviously going to be busy. And tell you what, that guy is a busy man. One of my Husker favorites that I grew up watching, and it's always a pleasure. I encourage you guys to check it out. The Don't Punt Hour with DeMornay Pierce and Hell. He could use your support. He is a Raiders fan, and yikes, I almost feel bad when we get to the Raiders when we do our NFL Tuesdays, because I'm like, we can just skip over this, man. it's been tough. But nonetheless, shout out to DeMornay Pierce. Now, he is off this week, so you will not hear him. But Raff, like I said, he's generous enough to extend some of his time. So what I want to do, open it back up to the text line. Of course, as always, 402-464-5685. Starter Heyman text line, Facebook, YouTube, X, Allen Channel 961. We got some Husker basketball starting up like right now. Chris Raff versus New Hampshire. They are undefeated. What does Husker basketball like get you fired up the same way football does, or is it different?
It's different. It's different. Nebraska football will always be my first love, I guess you would say. But Nebraska basketball, it has a way. It grabs my attention. Not to the like Nebraska football. Like I can tell you exactly what time they kick off, what where they're playing at, everything. And that's something you mark on your calendar and you're like, yep, I got to make time for this. Nebraska basketball, kind of a little bit different. You kind of know, like the game against New Hampshire, I knew the New Hampshire game was coming up, but I couldn't have told you the tip-off was at 8:00 tonight. I couldn't have told you that it was on FS1. I couldn't have told you that stuff. But it definitely is one of those things that you keep your eye on. Like it's kind of like, I hate saying it like this, but it's kind of like it's kind of like your number 2. It's like you kind of know what's going on with your number 2, but your number 1's a priority. And I'm not talking about girls there. I'm just talking about teams. I don't want people running the wrong way with that. But
I don't know how many people were, but good clarification, just in case.
just to clarify. But like how you have like your favorite team, like favorite team is the Broncos. So yep. I know exactly what's going on with the Broncos and stuff like that. But back when I was a little kid, the Broncos were like my number 1 team. And then I think the Cincinnati Bengals were like my number 2 team. But I kind of knew what was going on with them, but it wasn't a must-see TV, I guess you'd say. But the Michigan State game will probably be must-see TV. I mean, that's going to be the game of the country when they tip off. Hopefully, Nebraska will be undefeated when that happens. So that's on the 2nd, I believe, isn't it? Or the 1st or the 2nd?
Yeah. 2nd. So second day after the new year, it's going to be Huskers versus. It's a big one that we're playing the Spartans at home. I like that at home a lot more than I like it on the road. Although they proved it, they can win big games on the road with a huge win over Illinois, and Illinois went on to have a pretty good run after losing to Nebraska in spite of that. So it was not a fraudulent win whatsoever. But yeah, I mean, this team, I was excited with Tim Miles, but when we got Fred Hoiberg, I was amped. I was like, holy smokes, this might actually be what we need. And then COVID hit, and then you're just seeing his teams get decimated. Also, when he first got here, again, I think it was like year 1 or year 2 was like the Noah Vedral, Brant Banks year where you had to just find guys to put in there. But I'm glad that there's been this patience with him because you could always kind of see it, like his basketball mind. And then when certain players are playing the right way, and then you see what he did with a guy like Derek Walker, who deserves a lot of credit for kind of starting the title shift of this is a program to take seriously. And that was that magical run where he goes down there and, gets that huge win versus Creighton. That was a classic where he's, given, was Brian or Ryan Kalkbrenner? I'm blanking on his first name for some reason.
Ryan.
Yeah. Now on the Charlotte Hornets, actually really good NBA player as well. But that was kind of one of those games where I was like, we might actually be changing the script here. And then of course you lose him. You got to find a way to reorganize. Let's go get this guy named Keisei Tamanaga. Just a phenomenal story, phenomenal athlete. really good player. And then he's able to convince other guys like Bryce Williams, Juwan Gary, Delano Banton, Isaiah Roby. Like, he's got an eye for talent. And now that he's starting to put some wins on the table, listen, I know we're not paying our guys what they're paying Michigan's guys or even Michigan State's guys. What Fred Hoiberg is able to do with, and this is no slander to our NIL department. I don't know what the math looks like. It probably seems like a nightmare of a job. I wasn't that big of a fan of accounting to begin with, but I just know they are probably 2/10 of what some of the major basketball programs are making. And to sit here undefeated and take down a really good Illinois team on the road, and just doing it by finding a guy named Rink Mast who wasn't super high on a lot of people's boards. And now you get a guy like Sam Hoiberg, who is your son, but you're going to have that narrative, the coach's son. Now that guy went out that earned it. He gets a ton of praise from other coaches, rightfully so, for all the small things he does. And then even a guy like Berke Berutangel, who over at UCLA, like they kind of called him trash. They thought he was washed. He comes down here, a little bit of a slow start. I think last year was tough for him to find his role just due to the lack of offense. But you look at him this year and he fits the system perfectly. And you totally know what you're getting. It's just been incredible. The biggest compliment. He's got an offensive mind that we all knew, but his eye for talent has been incredible.
But just by you talking there, I hate to draw the comparisons and stuff like that, but you talked about how Nebraska players probably aren't getting paid as much. Coach Hoiberg has an eye for talent, able to to coach to get a lot out of his players. I mean, Sam Hoiberg, for instance, I don't think anybody expected the production that they would get out of Sam Hoiberg. And what he's given Nebraska basketball over the last 2-3 years has been pretty incredible. But he's made himself a legitimate Big Ten basketball player. So now I bounce back to football. All I hear about football is we need more money, we need more money, we need better players. So why does it work for some sports, some coaches, some players? That irritates me sometimes, because I understand you got to get the players that, what did I say, the Jimmys and Joes instead of the X's and O's or whatever that is. But still, in my mind, I still think if you're a coach worth your wear, you have to have that confidence in yourself to be like, hey, if I can get a top-notch player or a good player, that I can make them a great to an excellent player. I think that's the beauty of coaching. I think that's the beauty of Kurt Cignetti. Like people are like, well, he brought all of his players from James Madison. Well, it's like, well, yeah, but how many of those James Madison players were really wanted by anybody else when they went to James Madison? It's like, so for me, I hear you talk about Fred Hoiberg, and he does this, and this. So then that makes me think, well, why is the football team always begging, always wanting more money? When I'm thinking, shouldn't the coaching elevate these players? That's one of the things that I always kind of scratch my head a little bit about.
Yeah, the one problem with football is, like, just because it is the biggest moneymaker, you do always have to kind of keep that door open, which is annoying. But I mean, football is one where there's some schools, basketball schools like the Dukes, North Carolinas, like Michigan, for instance, this year, Michigan State, although probably not one of the most extreme, but they're certainly up there, where they're always going to be the big spenders in pulling. But in basketball, there's so many guys out there, and it's more that you can kind of fill rosters. Football is tough. I mean, I'm with you in the fact that for what we're paying, or at least what the boosters are paying, I think they deserve better results. And it kind of goes back to development. And it's a little bit of a double-edged sword. If you're going to get the guys that require a lot of money, that came here for money, that's fine. It is what it is. Like we talked about at the beginning, if they're honest about it, I really don't care. If you say you're here for money and you play good, I'll double, well, not double up, but I'll keep paying you that number. And if you deserve more, maybe I'll give you more. And if you play bad and you told me you're only here for money, then I'm okay letting you go. At least you're honest, no hard feelings.
Yeah.
But when you don't have the money, you don't have the resources, there's a bought-in loyalty. And I think that's what you see with the Nebraska basketball team. I mean, that's a group of guys who were projected to be in the bottom of the Big Ten, and they're looking around, and they have faith in each other. It's just a loyal, and they got a ton of faith in Hoiberg, because Hoiberg wasn't ever buying into what the Big Ten preseason reports are. He recruited those players. He wanted them there. That's who he wants to work with. And you kind of see that mutual loyalty. Like, there is no doubt between their trust in each other, whether it's between the teammates on the court or the teammates' trust in the coaching staff. And Lenzer deserves a huge credit as well for what he's been able to do with that defense. But I think that's one of the smaller advantages that gets missed, is when you aren't one of those teams that has all the money, that has all the eyes on it, you get a bunch of guys with a chip on their shoulder.
Yeah.
And when you have a coach that can feed into that energy and start showing some results, that team becomes dangerous.
No, I agree with everything you said there. That was always, I guess, with Nebraska football, I've scratched my head for like the last, 10, 15 years. It's like, if you hear like, well, we're not getting the top players, I guess if I'm a player on that team, that would motivate me to become better, to show, just the end of the day, players are players. There's good ones, there's bad ones, there's players that are decent that are made into great ones. There's players that come in great and never elevate. And it's just, I always wait for that fire to burn at Nebraska, to where enough is enough, I guess. But I'm still waiting on that. And it feels like, like Nebraska basketball, it's kind of, like you said, the first 5 years under, Coach Hoiberg, it was a struggle. I mean, there was talk. I'd be honest, or not being honest, if there wasn't talk about, hey, maybe it's time to move on. But then I always had it in the back of my head, just remembering him as a player at Iowa State, and just his wanting to win, his desire to win was so great when he was at Iowa State. And then when he was at Iowa State as the head coach, and the teams he produced there, and it was like, there's got to be, a reason or something. And it's cool to see it kind of all fall into place this year. Well, actually, the last couple of years where he's, he's put some fairly decent teams out there. So they're fun to watch. And I'll tell you what, if they somehow can pull out a victory against Michigan State, there's a pretty good chance, Nebraska is going to be a top 10 team in the country, if not better.
Oh, I think so. Big time. Certainly at that 10 spot. Any higher than that, I'm not sure about, but if they win that one, that's huge, because that's once again doubling down on. I mean, what are the big wins here? It's currently 9-4, by the way, in this New Hampshire-Nebraska game. But you got a ranked win over 13 Illinois, a good win versus Creighton, who's been able to pick up their season a little bit after getting embarrassed. You got a great win over Wisconsin. Kansas State's been playing better since we beat them, looking like a better Big 12 team than maybe initially anticipated. And then you got a big win over Oklahoma. And then you still got that exhibition match that doesn't count, where you beat a top 10 team in the country. So there is this kind of national belief that you don't have to rack up a million games in a row anymore. I think you just win big ones. People are going to move this team up. And that is exactly what Michigan State is.
So, okay, so say Nebraska continues to win. They get some victories, and they put themselves, say, at the magical number 1 team in the country. Does Kent Pavelka survive the season?
With thoughts and prayers, he does. We will, I will say prayers for his, I mean, just get that man some tea and honey and just keep him going. I mean, he's not going to want to miss it either. So it's been awesome. Kent Pavelka has been one of the better stories. And it's great that he's finally getting noticed, because he's always been great. Like one of the better play-by-play callers out there. Just no one's been listening because season was kind of over. Like mid-season of Big Ten play, it's like, you could listen, but was going to be kind of a Pavelka trying to hype up a lot of bad losses. And I get it. He's just doing his job. But yeah, he might be the biggest winner in all of it. As much as I just shouted out Fred Hoiberg and the players, Pavelka's been there longer, and he's been suffering through a lot of it. I thought I had it bad doing the post-game shows for a few years when we were losing. He had to be there for every single game, and yikes, just hasn't gone the way that I'd imagine he ever wanted it to, outside of this year and, some of the years prior, where Fred Hoiberg's finally brought some success in this program. And then Tim Miles, I don't disrespect him or Danny Nee. Like they had some good runs, but people scoff at me when I say this. I said it last year. These are the glory days of Nebraska basketball, the golden age, if you compare it to everything else.
Close. I still think that the 90, was it 90
Big 8 championship?
Yeah, the 96, 97. I think,
but they only made it to the NIT.
Well, they made it to the NCAA tournament. They lost the first round in NCAA tournament. And
they won an NIT though, correct?
Yeah, they won the NIT strict senior year. They won the NIT, but they never got an NCAA tournament victory. But those were some pretty golden years. There were some big victories over Kansas. There was, they played the Fab Five, and they gave them a run. So there were those were some good times back in those late '90s teams.
No, that's fair. I'll give you that. Well, you can tell it the second golden age.
Yeah,
I mean, just back-to-back 20-win seasons is good luck finding those. Like when you go through the Huskers win-loss records, there's not a lot.
And then there was like the mini golden age in like the mid '80s, because Dave Hoppin and Brian Carr, when they were going, the assists, the points, and then Henry T. Buchanan his senior year when they went to the Final Four in the NIT. So I guess that was the mini golden age, then the somewhat golden age, and now, yeah, I think you're right. This probably is the golden age, or it has an opportunity to become that golden age of greatness. I mean, if they get one victory in the NCAA tournament game, I mean, that's the best the program's ever done. I mean, it's crazy to think that, but that's basically that one thing right there makes it the best ever.
Well, okay, I had to go through it. I was like, have we ever had 20-win seasons? Like, well, I know we have, but how many back-to-back? And obviously the program in 1986 through 97,
it was decent.
Yeah, they just, okay. So there's not a lot of stats. I'm not even going to put those up there, but you get to the 1900s and there's none in there. No 20-win seasons.
No.
Still no 20-win seasons. We're all the way up to, man, we still don't got any. 1965-66, we get our first 20-win season. And then it falls off a cliff again for a while. 82-83, you get another 22-win season, and then it falls off. And then that 90 through, you could probably go all the way up to 98. To your point, was actually pretty good basketball where they had things going on with Danny Nee. And then it falls off cliff again. And then you get to 2017-18, that 1 year with Tim Miles where we had 22 wins. Everyone's fired up. Next year, he gets let go. You bring in Fred Hoiberg. And Fred Hoiberg, in just his, 5 years, he had 23-11, 2 years ago. Last year is obviously 21-14, and this year he's off to a 12-0 start. So maybe not quite yet. You want to call it the golden age, but it's just incredible what he's been able to do in the 5 years already.
Can you be the mayor in two cities? I don't know if there's a rule out there. Can he be the mayor of Lincoln, or does he have to give up his mayorship of Ames?
If he signs a lifetime contract with the Huskers and doesn't, ever want to up his numbers, we can give him another key. He would never agree to that, but I don't know. I don't know how they would feel about that down there if we gave him a key as well. He might have to step down somewhere else.
I mean, can he be the mayor in two places? I mean, that's a question that needs to be asked. I mean, there's a pretty good chance too. If he gets that first NCAA victory, there's a pretty good chance you see his name up in the rafters. So there'd be two college schools with his name up there in the rafters, because I mean, he's still, I mean, he is the gold standard at Iowa State. I mean, he goes back to Iowa State. I mean, it's like the king has returned. So that's what's going to happen. Mark it down.
He could get in there, but it won't be the first time, because Keisei Tominaga, isn't he the ambassador for Japan or for the U.S. and Japan? Like,
you mark this down. Nebraska versus Iowa State in the NCAA tournament.
Ooh, that'd be a barn burner. Chris Raff, we do got a phone call if you want to take it.
Heck yeah, I love phone calls.
All right, it's blind, so if it goes south, I'll have to hang up right away. But let's go ahead and bring him in. He wasn't patient enough.
No one's
He goes and call it. He said beep, beep, beep 3 times in a row. Incredible.
Well, call back, listener. We're still here. Call back. If it's Fred Hoiberg, call back. But yeah, the way the NCAA tournaments always, you have those matchups. I see a Nebraska versus Iowa State matchup in the future in the NCAA tournament, or maybe one where if they each win their first game, Nebraska versus Iowa State. And then, I mean, it's like the golden child returns. Oh man, that the storylines for that game would be incredible. Oh, I lost you.
Being weird. All right, there you go, Chris Raff. Can you hear me?
Oh, yep, you're back. I was like, where'd he go?
Yeah, it just crashed for some reason. So that being said, we'll just throw it to break. Give the computer a breather. It must be getting tired on us. Don't go anywhere. Raff's Good Take on Sports, 93.7 The Ticket, ticketfm.com. I'll talk to you on the other side.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids.
First, I hold my hands out like they're on a steering wheel. Then I look over my shoulder. Next, I put it in reverse. Beep, beep, beep.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza. The big one. All the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend.
At Raising Cane's, we focus on being the best at one thing and getting it right every time. Which is why every chicken finger meal we serve is marinated, hand-battered, cooked to order, and made just for you. Quality isn't complicated, and our menu is proof.
Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love.
Skip the line and order with our app or online.
Ready, set, Ford. Just announced 0% for 66 months with approved credit on all 2025 Ford F-150s at Zollner, Fort Beatrice. Save thousands in finance charges. If your current pickup loan's 4, 5, 6% or more, trade in today and receive 0% for up to 66 months on a brand new 2025 Ford F-150 of your choice at Zollner, Fort Beatrice, Nebraska's volume dealer with the hometown service you expect.
All right, Lincoln, if you're a diesel technician who's ready to earn up to $40 an hour and you're tired of working nights and weekends, listen up. Inland Truck Parts and Service is hiring experienced diesel technicians right here in Lincoln, and they're offering what every hardworking tech wants. Monday through Friday hours, no nights, no weekends, and paid training on advanced diesel technology. With 37 locations across 12 states, career advancement opportunities are endless. Start building towards your future and apply today at inlandtruck.com. That's inlandtruck.com. Or text APPLY to 785-369-1320. Golfing in 72 degrees and perfect conditions in Nebraska doesn't seem possible in December, but it is. Double Eagle Golf is your escape from the bone-chilling cold outside and a reason to keep the clubs out year-round. Book your holiday parties at Double Eagle Golf and make plans to join them for a New Year's Eve party. Gift cards make a great stocking stuffer for Christmas, and don't forget to look ahead to 2026 as spring leagues begin in February. That's all at Double Eagle Golf inside the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street. Online at doubleeagle.golf.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
When it comes to keeping your equipment running, you've got options at Landmark Implement. Whether you need premium John Deere parts or a more economical solution, A&I parts from Landmark deliver the dependable performance you can count on with cost savings up to 40%. From filters and bearings to belts and everyday repairs, A&I parts are built to work as hard as you do while helping stretch your budget further. Stop by your local Landmark Implement parts counter today or shop online anytime at shop.deere.com and experience the Landmark difference.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, where your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Hi, my name is Molly Party. I'm a realtor with MP Dodge Real Estate. I'm a newly licensed agent and considered numerous brokerages before deciding on MP Dodge. I chose the company that gives me the most support in my new career, plus guidance and encouragement along the way. MP Dodge has a unique mentoring program for new agents. It's helped jumpstart my career and has a supportive management team and administrative staff. So if you're contemplating a career in real estate, look no further than MP Dodge. It will be the best decision you make.
Back to Raff's Good Take on Sports on 93.7 The Ticket. With all the good takes you need, here is your host, Chris Raff.
Welcome back in. Raff's good take on sports. Maybe we should pump the brakes on hyping Husker basketball a little bit because they are down 23-20.
No, so much for the undefeated season.
It's fine. We got plenty of time left to go, and I don't know what it is. It's been the pattern. I've talked about this before. We play worst against the worst opponents. Whether it was the West Georgia Wolves to start out the year, or it was New Hampshire right now, or it was North Dakota earlier. I mean, or that Maryland team. I always blank on what that Maryland team was. It was not the Terps. It was a lesser team than the Terps. No disrespect to those programs. But we just talked about how Fred Hoiberg doesn't have a lot of money. A little bit more money than these guys. So it's something about these teams that have less talent. They play really well against Nebraska. And
all I know is if they lose to New Hampshire, you fire up the hot seat on Fred Hoiberg. I can't stand for that.
There'll be one person in there that says, "See, told you," and I'll be like, "All right, man, shut up." Like, just sit down. Wait.
Last segment, all we could talk about was the greatness of Fred Hoiberg. The very next segment, we're getting beat by New Hampshire. Okay, fire up the hot seat. Get him out of here.
You know, after thinking about it over the break, I might have been wrong on my entire 30-minute take on Fred Hoiberg in this basketball program. Wrong direct. No, to be fair, they're only down by 3. I'm not super worried about it. I'll worry when they have a substantial lead and there's not a lot of time left. So, with that being said, it is a little bit of a closer game than I think people anticipated, but there's an and one opportunity on the floor. So, that's all I got on Husker basketball. I'm just going to kind of put that to the side, wait for this game to play out. Raff, have you been checking out the college football bowl games, though?
A little bit here and there, kind of getting ready, kind of the calm before the storm. Like I said, I gave a guy a lift to the airport the other day, and he was going to Los Angeles, and I asked him why, and of course he's going for the Alabama game. I probably should have known that. Told my wife about that. She was not happy with me, but yeah. So we got the big game. You know, we have Ohio State, Miami tomorrow night. That should be an entertaining game. I don't know if the game will be as entertaining as what Michael Irvin will be on the sideline, but I'm sure it will definitely live up to all expectations.
There's been some incredible ones. I wasn't able to watch the entire thing. I'm trying to figure out what the record is for the SEC so far in these bowl games, but the SEC once again struggling. Illinois just pulled out a thriller versus Tennessee. So far in these bowl games so far, the Big Ten is perfect, 5-0. The Big 12 perfect, 2-0. ACC 4-4, and the SEC 2-5 so far. Something about the SEC in bowl games is not technically they lost one, but it was to Oklahoma, your Alabama Crimson Tide, so you can't really count that one.
Roll Tide.
I don't know what it is. Like, are we at a point where is the SEC that much closer to the Big Ten than people realize? Because this will be 2 years in a row if it keeps going the way it's going, where the Big Ten teams are winning bowl games and the SEC just isn't.
I think your top tier teams, I think Big Ten and SEC are fairly even. SEC might be a little bit deeper.
But would you say that Tennessee is better than Illinois? Because they just lost.
Not this year.
A lot of people would have said they were.
I guess if you go name recognition, you'd probably say yes. But then when you if you dive deep into the two teams, you might come out with a different, just with the brand of football, that you might come out with a different perspective, I guess you would say. But I mean, the SEC bias, I mean, it's real. It was there for a long time, and I think it's starting to. I mean, I still think the SEC's deeper, like per team, than the Big Ten is. I could be wrong on that, but I feel like Nick Saban always says, there's really no easy place where you can go and get a victory, on the road. Big Ten, I think they're making strides, but the bottom of the Big Ten, I think, is just weaker than the bottom of the SEC.
There's certainly some truth to that, but I think the middle of the pack is even closer than people like to give them credit for.
Yeah, I think the middle of the Big Ten, I think they can compete with the SEC with most of the middle SEC teams. But it's just one of those things that always goes back to, you have to see it on the field to see what happens. Like we could say, well, yeah, Nebraska could step on the field and play Auburn. But then Nebraska might get, play a team like Auburn, and the speed and the quickness and the size might be too much for Nebraska. So it's until you see it, head to head, you can always talk and make the assumptions, or you can say what you would think. But until you see it, because it's almost like you've got to see that speed. Like they were talking, again, I was listening to early break, when was the last time Nebraska played like an SEC team, like in the regular season? I mean, it's years and years.
Georgia?
I mean,
Music City Bowl?
That's a bowl game. I was saying in the regular season.
Regular season.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had an opportunity for Tennessee, but we said no, thank you.
Exactly. So I mean, it's stuff like that. But I think the Big Ten. And the Big Ten, I mean, they've shown it. I mean, the team that wins the national title, I mean, I guess that's the best conference because they won the national. So the Big Ten has another, legitimate shot this year to, win with, Indiana or Ohio State. So I guess, there's a good chance that they have that opportunity. So I guess your best of it to me is the team that wins the championship. Usually that's your best conference.
I think it's a pretty sound argument. Hard to poke holes through it. You can talk about the depth of those conferences, but yeah, it's just been interesting. I wonder how much has NIL been a part of it? How much of it is, just the chaotic coaching cycle, and then now that Saban's run has come to an end? It's crazy.
I think money's a key part of it. Like I always talk, for years and years, maybe there's a little bit of money that was going in SEC players' pockets back in.
We can just say there was for some of
before
the
it was legal, and now where it's legal for everybody. Now you have those schools. You have Ohio State that has all a lot of money, and you have Michigan. I mean, Michigan's going to return, back to some sort of to form. They've got a good coach there. They got deep pockets there, so they're going to be there in that competition. Oregon, they're always going to be there as long as Phil Knight's around. They're going to be there. Nebraska, there's going to be some money. They might not be in the top echelon of money, but Nebraska's always going to have money. So it's there. It's just, but like I said, there's going to come a point to money can only take you so far. It's the coaching, and it's the players, and it's the, like you were talking about earlier about paying players. I mean, when you pay players in any job or anything, you want results, and you just can't continue to pay players for no results. I mean, that's bad business. And that's like these players. I understand that, they want paid and stuff like that. And they want the proverbial quote unquote, the bag, but you've got to produce. And I think that's one of the things that's you're going to see in these upcoming years is you're going to see the cold, hard truth of what college football is all about. And you're going to see these players that sign their contract, and then the next year they're going to be left out in the cold because it's like, well, you didn't produce. So we have to, you might love your college, or you might, love going to school here, but you're not producing for us. So you've either got to, cut your money, or we've got to let you go. And I think that is the new thing of college football that in previous years, you just never saw. When you sign, like back in the old days, a scholarship was a series of 1-year contracts, or 1 year. You'd sign for 1 year, but most schools were loyal to a fault. If they signed you to a scholarship, they kept you for the entire 4 years or 5 years. And the new age of college football is not only do players have, where they can decide to leave after every year, you're going to see a lot of these schools saying, okay, well, you didn't produce for us, you're out, and it's college football's got it's cold. It's cold hearted. It's a lot like the NFL without a salary cap. The NFL, there's no love lost. Most players, when they hit that certain age, or if they hit, if they're not producing, that's why they sign these contracts with the first 2 years with guaranteed money and the last 2 years with not guaranteed money, because you got to earn it. And I think you're going to see a lot of that with college football, where people are going to sign their 1-year contract, come in, not produce, and be like, all right, well, you got to go. And then that's what college football's turned into. So I guess I'm here for the party.
They got to get back to a transfer rule. That's what's killing this thing. I mean, if there's a transfer rule, like, yeah, the guys still get to make their money, but they don't get just the bail. And if they like, say a school like Nebraska, they recruit a kid who maybe isn't highly touted and isn't getting a ton of offers, and Nebraska makes him into a great player, and all of a sudden he's one of the premier players in college football. I think you get one transfer, that's it. After that one transfer, now you have to sit out a year. You have to go back to something where there has to be some sort of penalty to where, and how many schools want to pay guys a bunch of money just for them to sit out 1 year? Probably not a ton out there. And then if you have a coach fired or some horrible mismanagement or like a crazy scandal with like something crazy, or the coach would be the easy example. Coach gets fired, you get another one. Yeah. Because I think that's fair. If your circumstances change around you, I think it's fair that you get to look again. It doesn't mean we have to be super harsh to these players and we lock them in place, and no matter what happens, they're there. No, you can put in wrinkles to where, okay, in this situation, you get another. In this situation, you get another. The first one's on the house. Second one, you need a legitimate circumstance. Because we're having guys go to 5 universities and leave with no degree.
Yep.
Whose interest is that for? For the player who has no degree and has a bunch of money with no real certificate to go get a job after, so they don't make that NFL cut? What's his life look like? I hope he's got really good financial advisors, because he's going to stretch that thing out till retirement.
But these players, a lot of these players now, I get there are a lot of players that are going for the education, but most of these players, they're not going for the education. They're going for the money. I mean,
But then what are we doing? You know what I mean?
That's what it is. Like we always talk about, you can't blame the players. You got to blame the adults in the room for turning this into what it is. I mean, like you said, players going to 5 schools and not graduating. Well, they're going there. They're just going to where they can find the most money, or playing time, most money, playing time. It's what it's turned into. You talked about only one transfer rule. Well, now college football is to the point now, like I was talking about, a few seconds ago, you're going to have these schools. You're going to have schools. The cold-hearted truth of it is you're going to have coaches calling. It's just going to be like the NFL. Like they're going to call them into their office and be like, "Hey, you're not producing for us. We got to let you go." And then you're like sitting there going, "Well, I was thinking I was coming to get I was coming to graduate from the University of Nebraska in 4 years. I was coming here, but you're going to have coaches, just being basically, like the general manager in the NFL or the head coach in the NFL, where you're going to be like what they call it, the Turk. They'll be sending the Turk down to the locker room. They'll be like, "All right, come up to my office. Sorry, you're done here. You got to go." I mean, it's turned into professional sports. It's what it is, but that's what it is. That's the way we're at right now. And it's sad that it's turned into what it has, but education, scholarship, or, a diploma, education, that's, I don't even know if it's secondary anymore for college for college athletes, or big time college football athletes, I should say, because they're not going, for the education. They're just going to where they can find the most money.
Yeah, I mean, like, just being realistic, for anyone who's gone to classes with some athletes, you can kind of see the standard. And it's not everybody, but like, we don't have to live in a world where we just deny reality. And that's what upsets me the most. Like, to your point, it is not the players. It's like the adults in the room that allow that to happen. If I go into a household and I see a kid, playing with an electrical outlet, but the mom's, not paying attention, does not care, the house is a mess, and she's just, drinking on the couch. Well, it's not the kid's fault. The adults in the room, they're running the show. You got to figure something out. And it just feels like I maybe owe somewhat of an apology to the NCAA, because I think we've kind of gotten this territory where these major conferences like the Big Ten, the SEC, they've just been bullying the NCAA in every court case. And I think the NCAA has gotten to a little bit of the point where it's like, do what you want. We're not going to go to court just to lose again.
Well, think about what college football has turned into. Like, there used to be a time, like I think back to the Tom Osborne ages, like he'd go into parents' living rooms. He'd go into, like the Kenny Wilhite's mom's living room, and be like,
the Ricky C. Simmons story, one of the better ones.
if you send your son to Nebraska, I'm going to make sure that he's going to graduate, and he's going to get a good education. Now picture Coach Osborne walking into a living room in today's era. Well, I think maybe you might get a education. Well, probably not, because there's a good chance. It just,
the kid will be like, "You can't get me a Toyota. It's Toyota thumb, man. Come on, hook me up."
It's insane. And coaches cannot come in and promise that an education to players much anymore, because like I said, it's cold hearted now, where it's like you get to the end of the year, and if that top recruit doesn't produce and you got another top recruit coming in, it's a numbers game. It's like, sorry, you've got to go. You're only here for a 1-year contract. Once that 1 year is up, college football's got cold-blooded, and it's going to continue. It's going to continue to be that way, and it's going to get worse. And you're going to hear of players that they didn't fulfill their contractual obligations, so we had to let them go. It's like, but I thought you were it was to go to college and get an education, but it's not that, and that's what it's turned into, and you just have to accept what it is. I guess they call it college sports, but to me, I just think of it, it's just kind of professional sports without a salary cap.
Yeah, which is even more chaotic, because you just don't know how much money's getting thrown around there. And
give it time. Let the government get mixed up back with it again. That'll be good times. Good times for everyone.
I think that's probably where it'll head here, because it's just way too much money for the government to ignore. And the way that money's getting sloshed around, if I was money laundering, make me a Big Ten donor. Are you kidding? What a loop. Easiest money laundering scheme ever. Just say I was going to college football. Like it's insanity, and I don't know where. The one thing I'll land on before we go to break, I hate the excuse of, well, that's just the landscape today. No, it's because that's the landscape you allow it to be. But I do think you just got a lot of people in powers of position who are scared of lawsuits. And you're kind of seeing this with the foreign players that come from Europe, Germany, wherever. They go play pros in Europe, and then they go play pros directly into the NBA. And it's like, boy, it's kind of hard. I'm going to go back to college. Like, no, you declared for the NBA. You shouldn't be back, period.
Well, think of this. This just hit me, They changed the rule with junior colleges that doesn't count against you. Could you imagine Terrell Farley with 2 extra years of college? I mean, that one's for you, Terrell. You're listening, I'm sure. But it's like, just think of that. I mean, how everything just flips up. Like, I think Nebraska, the volleyball team, didn't they sign a girl that had played professional volleyball? The one girl, she'd played on the professional team, and now she's back in college. I'm just like, how is this? It used to be if you played a different sport, then, like if like John Elway, for instance, was playing, or even Strickland, was playing minor league baseball, you could go back and play your college. You just couldn't be on scholarship, So it's amazing how things change. Now you're going to have guys that are, and I thought this was going to happen last year with Shedeur Sanders. I really thought that there was a good possibility when he wasn't getting drafted until later in the draft, where he might withdraw his name from the draft and petition the NCAA for another year. And I think if that would have happened, I think he would have won, and they would have reinstated him back into Colorado, and his name would have been retired on the stadium. But I really think if that was something that he would have pushed for, I think that could have happened, because anymore, the NCAA is pretty much an open door. If you think of a lawsuit, you're definitely going to win it. It's crazy.
Yeah, I thought there was no shot. I mean, the way that season went, the year with even if it was sliding, someone was going to pick him up, and boy, that'd be awkward. All eyes on you with your jersey retired already at home, and you have like a bad year. Like, I just retired. I got my name and everything up there, and I'm not even past my prime, and I just had a bad season right here. So I wouldn't be surprised. I think they'd probably put in something like, well, his name wasn't officially called, so he therefore can take his name back out. But
there was that second day. I know there was discussions. Like they were talking about, could he withdraw his name because, they technically, in the old days, once you gave your name, you were taking money from an agent and blah, 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 blah. So you weren't technically an amateur anymore. But now these college players, they're not amateurs anymore anyway, because they're already taking money. So they're like, could he withdraw his name, go back to Colorado, then put his name back in the draft next year? And I thought for a little bit there, I thought maybe that would be the best option for him. So, but you're going to see that out of a college player before long. I'd say next year or the year after, you're going to see a player that puts his name into a draft, not get drafted where he thought, and then be like, hey, I'm gonna file a lawsuit against the NCAA to get my eligibility back. You will see that. I guarantee it.
Yeah, I won't be surprised. I'm with you. I think someone will definitely try it. We got to throw it to break, though. Don't go anywhere. Raff's good take on sports. One more segment. We'll see if Raff's good take on life was on par with mine. Don't go anywhere. 93.7 Ticket, ticketfm.com.
The holidays are here, and there's every reason to make Tipsy Tina's Taco Cantina part of your plans. Are you heading to a Nebraska basketball game? Stop at Tipsy Tina's before or after for delicious tacos. Meeting friends for drinks for an ugly sweater get-together? Enjoy Tipsy Tina's variety of margaritas. And if you're not sure about what to get for a gift this year, Tipsy Tina's gift cards are always a great idea. Don't forget about the event space at Salt next door to Tipsy Tina's, all of them located in the Haymarket at 8th and Q.
Golfing in 72 degrees and perfect conditions in Nebraska doesn't seem possible in December, but it is. Double Eagle Golf is your escape from the bone-chilling cold outside and a reason to keep the clubs out year-round. Book your holiday parties at Double Eagle Golf and make plans to join them for a New Year's Eve party. Gift cards make a great stocking stuffer for Christmas, and don't forget to look ahead to 2026 as spring leagues begin in February. That's all at Double Eagle Golf inside the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street. Online at doubleeagle.golf.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Your Christmas list changes a lot as you get older. Dreams of video games, remote-controlled cars, and baseball gloves turn into dreams of shoes. Practical things. Brown's Shoe Fit is the king of shoes in Lincoln, with brands like Sorel, UGG, Brooks, Hoka, and more to make you fashionable and comfortable. Grab a new Ridge wallet or buy 3 get 1 free on Smart Wool socks for the ultimate stocking stuffer. And don't forget a reliable gift card for that hard-to-buy-for person in your life. Brown's Shoe Fit at 66th and Q in Lincoln.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
The clock's ticking at Landmark Implement's annual inventory reduction sale. For a limited time, get 2.9% financing for 18 months, followed by 6.35% on selected equipment, including air drills, combines, planters, sprayers, 6 through 9 series tractors, and windrowers. No auction, no waiting, just direct access to the machines you want, price to move. Inventory won't last, and neither will these rates. Visit your nearest Landmark Implement or shop online at landmarkimp.com and experience the Landmark difference.
Looking for a financial partner that truly makes a difference? Modern Woodman is a member-owned fraternal financial services organization. We can help you plan for all stages of life, from protection to saving to retirement. We also offer member benefits, social activities, and volunteer opportunities to help your family and community.
I'm Sean Erickson, your Modern Woodman representative in Lincoln. Call me at 402-483-6515 to start the conversation.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
Back to Raff's Good Take on Sports on 93.7 The Ticket. With all the good takes you need, here is your host, Chris Raff.
Welcome back in. Final segment, Raff's Good Take on Sports. Just a little bit of time before we go ahead and get out of here. Been a great show. Got a whole 2 hours with Chris Raff. The Husker basketball team does still have the lead, a small one at that, but hopefully they can hold on to it right before the half ends. Talked a lot of the bowl game too. Shout out to the crew out there. Nick Sainert, DP. Oh man, who am I blanking on? Sorry to be the last guy out there.
Jake Sorensen.
Jake Sorensen, thank you. Oh man, how could I forget the legend himself of early break, Jake Sorensen? Yeah, you got those three gentlemen out there. They're posting some clips on there. So if you go to their socials, I know DP's been tweeting and I just retweeted it, and then on our ticket account as well. A lot of Husker fans made it down there. So despite whatever people may say about the season and how disappointed they are, they still spent a lot of money. Head down to Vegas. But to be fair, it is Vegas. Lots of things to do down there. Great weather, but the fan base looks awesome. So we'll have the pregame show tomorrow as well as the postgame. Want to highlight that one more time before we get to Raff's Good Take on life.
All right, everybody. Today's Raff's Good Take, just like Harrison, it goes out to the listeners, but also 4 years ago today was the inaugural meeting with DP, where it was me, DP, and AD, and we met and we talked about potentially starting a radio show. So 4 years ago, just a great day. It's been a great, 4-year run, being on the radio, having the opportunity to be on every day and talk sports and talk life. Just thank you so much to family, wife, the listeners, the Raff's Roadies. You guys are all amazing. I wish you all a very, very, very happy 2026 and continue listening because we appreciate you all. You guys are Raff's Good Take.
Well said. No shout out for me for being your very first producer.
Well, you're the second, but I don't want to say anything. Sorry.
Darn it.
but you're better than Big Country because he's an Iowa guy now. If I'd have known that, I don't know if I'd have been able to work with him the first time.
Oh, is Ethan Petrick?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Well, that guy's the same. I got no problem. He's a UNI guy, though.
He's an Iowa guy. I saw him. He was covering the Iowa-Nebraska game. He was an Iowa guy. Iowa.
Oh, I don't like the way his promotions are going. I like that when he was better at UNI.
Yeah,
all right.
So did I. No, Ethan was great. Big Country. And when I first met him, it was so funny. There's a Big Country, and I was like, oh, that's Big Country. I never put the name with the nickname, but yeah, great dude. But yeah, Harrison, you're the man. I've had my mom and sister messaging constantly all night going, Russ Holstein is in my top 10 NFL list. And so I want to give that credit to Russ. He got a Super Bowl ring or two, but I don't know if he cracks that top 10 list. But since he's from Hardington Cedar Catholic, I will make him on the Mount Rushmore with you. So you, Russ Holstein, and who else from Hardington Cedar Catholic can go on who are the other two on the Mount Rushmore of Hardington Cedar Catholic?
Everett Arns and Harrison Arns. And those my brothers. We got to get out of here. So appreciate it as always. Don't go anywhere. We'll run a replay.
Want to make the easy call? Call John Henry's. From leaky pipes to a broken AC, flickering lights to furnace fights, even drains and duct cleaning, we've got it handled.